My name's Spencer Hodgson. I run Lionpaw Organics. I really want to thank Emerald Cup for giving me this opportunity. I also want to give a tip of the hat to all you organic farmers out there. As many of you know, not all organic practices are the same. In the cannabis industry, some growers might be okay with sulfur applications, where others might cringe at the idea. Same can be said for the foods that we eat. I urge all of you to do a little bit of homework and see the businesses you support. Whether it's the herb you smoke or the vegetables you eat. By doing that research, you'll see that the farmers market vegetables are way different than some of the organic monocrop produce coming out of Salinas. When it comes to animals and the foods you consume, I've learned it's even more important to know what you're putting into your body. You can grow your own food you can be proud of, and make your land more fertile in the process. By a show of hands, who in this room has grown a cannabis plant or a vegetable garden? Figured. How many of you guys have baked a loaf of bread? Right on. I'm sure pretty much all you can agree that cannabis you grew is some of the best smelling and probably some of the tastiest herb you've ever experienced. With practice, that loaf of bread ends up being the perfect combination of fluffy center to crispy crust. Any fish you catch is almost always the tastiest. There's something truly special about participating in the food that we eat. It makes you proud. It's something you want to share. You never really want to waste it. And unless you're Bryceland Forest Farms, I don't think you ever have as much as you'd like. Again, by a show of hands, who in this room eats meat? Of all you guys that eat meat, how many of you have raised an animal that you then went on to process, cook, and eat? Right on. I'm sure, no. Of all you, when you have this chance to connect with your food source, it can change how you look at your food. I know it has changed mine. Nowadays, it almost hurts me when I go out to dinner with someone and see them order a dozen wings and not finish them, or not take that burger to go. Because the truth is, an animal took the ultimate sacrifice in order to provide us with that nutrition. We as a society have like an enormous waste issue, as we all know. And I've read that the food industry is responsible for more greenhouse gases than the cars that we drive. And we as homesteaders, farmers, and consumers have the ability to change this. If you take anything away from this little presentation, I hope it's a desire to raise your own animals and to respect your animals and really just become connected with the food you eat and love it as much as you love your hazes and your cushes. I know not all of you will have the opportunity to raise livestock, but even as consumers, you have the ability to influence the world around you. Animal husbandry started for me as it does with most, that is with a handful of layer chickens. They had and still have true free range of my homestead, and this has consistently given me some of the best eggs and meat that I've ever had. Any of you who have had eggs or meat from pastured chickens probably know what I'm talking about. Before doing any research, I'd always thought this way of life was considered free range, and I'm not really going to go into it now, but next time you're at the store staring at eggs or chicken with the label cage-free or even free range, I urge you to pull out your phone and Google those terms, because the truth is most of those animals really don't have a life that you want to be associated with. Just because something is organic doesn't mean it was produced in a sustainable or humane way. When you spend the time to observe chickens or ducks, you'll see that their days are spent scratching and pecking at the ground, all the while leaving a trail of composted, nitrogen-rich poop. The same can be said for hogs, cattle, goats, sheep, and alpaca. The methods I've used for managing my livestock all have the same basic principle. That's a regular move to fresh grounds. I've used combinations of electric fences, chicken tractors, and just free run. Electric fences, by using an electric fence, it gives me the opportunity to control where the animal goes and doesn't go, which equates to what they eat and in some cases don't eat. Electric fences do definitely have a couple flaws that I want to mention. You need a proper grounding stake that needs to be wet. You need a proper energizer, and probably the most important fact is you got to turn it on. Chicken tractors have the same kind of basic concept of concentrating the energy. As an example, this past year in one of my pastures, I was able to move chicken tractors every day without ever touching the same piece of land twice. Where in another smaller paddock, I was able to do 3 rotations on the same piece of land and put down an immense amount of poop and manure for a garden expansion this coming year. They also have their flaws. Depending on the size that you make, they can get a little heavy for smaller people. And if a bear or mountain lion gets interested enough, they will get their way in there. Learn that one too. In the case of ruminants, it gives the farmer the opportunity to allow their forage to grow up ample amounts. This gives more grazing opportunities. It gives more food for the animal and also more food for the soil itself. Coming up in 2019, I'm going to be finally doing my part in rotationally grazing my cattle. The herd's slowly growing, but we're committing next year is the year. And so the chicken tractors and the cattle are going to finally be living their life together. It's kind of been this weird dance up till now. But once that multi-species system gets going, ideally I'm going to be moving the chickens and the ducks a couple days behind the cattle. This should give me the opportunity to interrupt some of the pest cycles that we deal with cattle. Also spread their fertility and distribute biology. I've come to love both chickens and ducks. They're predictable, easily controlled, and hard workers. I encourage everyone to raise birds. They can give you protein, eggs, poop, feather meal, blood meal, bone meal, and to me, most of all, a new set of challenges and really constant entertainment. I really want to acknowledge all of you who are working with your land. I've met quite a few cannabis farmers. Most of you guys are hardworking, creative, and passionate people. You can raise your own animals. You can give them a healthier, more humane life than feedlots do. Up until 3 years ago, I had never raised an animal that I then went on to eat. To me at the time, meat, the only meat I really knew, came wrapped in plastic from the store. I now take immense pride in being a part of the animals and the food that I eat. Knowing the life they live really makes me proud. I give every animal reverence and respect, and I take the time to thank every animal for the life they lived and the nutrition they'll provide. Yeah, I want to ask all you guys, when you get a chance, maybe to give the website a visit. This next year, I'm going to be trying to offer a person-to-person or farm-to-table opportunity for some of you guys if you need a meat source. I'm also going to be doing some farm visits, so if you have the interest to see how I'm doing what I'm doing or just to know where your food comes from, I'm going to try and make that a possibility. So, thank you guys all again.